Today, I have a very cool video for all of you. I'm going to take you on a time machine trip back to the year 2005. Back when RuneScape 2 was only 1 year old, back when I found and discovered RuneScape for the very first time, back when I found my passion. I even started making RuneScape videos back in 2007, and I'm still doing it to this day. I am old. I am literally the grandfather of the RuneScape community. I am so old that literally all of you watching right now probably know of me, but just don't really care. I'm like the grandparents that you put into a retirement home and you just leave them there to die. Anyways, when I was younger, who am I kidding? Even to this day, I was obsessed with RuneScape. I would go to school and think about playing RuneScape. I couldn't wait to come home and play RuneScape. I would talk to my classmates about meeting up in game and doing quests. I would doodle RuneScape drawings in my notebook. I was obsessed with RuneScape, even to the point where my friend found this really cool website where you put your username and your password in, as well as any items that you want in game, and within 24 hours, it would be put directly onto your account. Yeah, my friend hacked my very first RuneScape account. So I was obsessed. And what does any normal 12-year-old kid with a RuneScape obsession and when something called the Grand Exchange doesn't exist yet do? He writes down nearly every single RuneScape item's price into a notebook. And today, while looking through some old things, my mom found that notebook, and my wife came up with this video idea. So without further ado, let's take a look at what nearly every RuneScape item was worth back in 2005. Alright, so here is the notebook that I wrote all of the RuneScape item prices of 2005 in. I don't know what I was thinking with this book. It's got a flower on the front, a weird pattern. I don't know why I didn't just use a composition notebook or one of those $2 Staples ones that had a blue or black or red cover. I don't know what I was thinking. Clearly, I wasn't thinking about the content or showing this book to a bunch of people online in the future. But anyways, here we are. So the first thing about this book is that it's got some drawings. Now, I was into Dragon Ball Z as a kid, only for a few years, but I drew some characters. So this is all freehand, by the way, not traced or anything. So Majin Kid Buu I drew, Android 17, not bad, pretty good. There's the blank page, of course. Rules to draft MLB. This looks like a fantasy draft that me and a friend did. I guess here's my team. I got Barry Bonds, A-Rod. I probably won this. David Ortiz. Who is Toby Hall? Anyways, you're not here for baseball. There's my friend's team. Interesting. But this is what you are here for. How much items really are in RuneScape. Now, this is the meat and potatoes. This is the price guide for 2005 RuneScape 2. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say that there is no proof that this was written in 2005. I wish I had dated it, but I didn't. All you have is my word, and my word has been pretty solid since 2007. I've never lied to any of you. I've shared personal stories. I always keep it real, so hopefully you all understand that this is 100% authentic. I genuinely wrote these as a 12-year-old kid in 2005, and this is not some fabrication for views or a video. I would not care less about that. I am just showing you this because this is truly outstanding. No one was crazy like me and did this. No one monitored all of the prices in 2005 of these items and wrote them down in a book, and it's so cool to have them here. So I wanted to share it with all of you. And I got all of these prices by going to World 2. There was no Grand Exchange. There was no guides online. It was World 2, Fally Park, and World 2 Varrock West Bank. I went there, I saw what people were buying items for, selling items for. I looked at all of that and I wrote them down just so I had that information for myself. So without further ado, let's check out some of these items. So there is a lot of pages, by the way. So I'm not going to say every single item's price, otherwise it could get a little lengthy. It's not every item in RuneScape either. It's just some of the more important ones, not everything. So just keep that in mind, but I'm only going to highlight some of the more important ones. Like the first one we're going to get into, which is actually the Abyssal Whip at 9 mil. Abyssal Whips being 9 mil is crazy, but remember, I wrote this book sometime between August and October of 2005. So Slayer had just come out January of 2005. And not a lot of people were 85 Slayer or could kill Abyssal Demons or got lucky enough to get an Abyssal Whip. There was only a few people with that high of a Slayer level at this point in time, like Fat Wrecked, Zezima. I'm pretty sure those people had very, very large Slayer levels and were able to get Abyssal Whips. But that's why they were so expensive, because this was the best weapon in the game. 70 attack to wield, didn't degrade, 9 mil was the price. It's crazy because in old school, whips are still around 2 mil, and in RS3, they are absolutely useless. I don't even think they're worth 100k anymore. So it's wild to think Abyssal Whips were 9 mil, but it was well deserved. Back then, it was the best weapon in the game. How could it not be? You got full Addy for 30k, which probably went up due to the invention skill and all of the components that you get from disassembling it. So that probably went up in price. Addy T and Addy G going for crazy amounts of money, as you see there. Back when people cared about trimmed armor, it was the only fashionscape we had. My favorite was full Black G, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But some other standouts on this page are just all Addy. Addy boots being 50k. They were like the second best boots in the game. It was rune boots, Addy boots, and maybe climbing boots in there. I'm not sure if climbing boots had bonuses back then, but that was the top 3 for boots by far. So Addy boots being 50k is pretty wild. Next. Air Battlestaff 10k. Okay, that's kind of standard. Ami of Glory being 100k is a little wild. That was the best amulet in the game. Remember, this is before Fury amulets. This is before anything. Before Essence of Finalities. Way before all of that stuff. Ami of Glories were nuts because they teleported you to places. You needed the Hero's Quest to recharge them. It was hard to get, and Dragonstones were probably very expensive too and hard to get. So Amulet of Glory for 100k is bonkers. It's like 10k in RuneScape 3, probably the same price in old school. They are very cheap amulets now because we have the Passage of the Abyss. People use that for clues, but no one actually uses an Ami of Glory. Plus you could put that in your house and just teleport through construction. So Ami of Glory being 100k back then makes sense, but wild. And then these are the rest of the Amis. Accuracy 250 GP to 500 GP. Power, which was the second best amulet, for 10k. Ami of Strength for 3k. Ami of Magic for 2k. Wild. Archer Helm. You had to have one of those best in slot helms. Archer Helm, Farseer Helm, Warrior Helm, Berserker Helm. All of those you needed to have because those were best in slot. There's the Berserker Helm. 55 to 65k. Pretty wild. That was pretty standard back then. You had the Berets. Black was 150k, white was 150k, and blue was 80k. I don't know why blue was so hated on, so much cheaper. Those are actually more expensive now because of fortunate components. So those are actually more expensive than back in the day in 2005. So Beret gang, all happy about that. Big Bones, 150 GP to 300 GP, pretty wild. Standard stuff with full regular black. We've got some Black G items here. Black Kite G, 35 to 50k. Black Full Helm G, 30 to 40k. On this page, we've got the Black Plate Body G, 250k. Black Plate Legs G, 100 to 200k. So full Black G was like 500k. And I had an account where I made a pure woodcutter, which was literally 10 defense and like 60 woodcutting. And I would just wear full Black G and cut U-logs all day long. So Black G was my go-to for Fashionscape. You've got a Bronze Halley for 3k. Blood Runes were 500 GP each. A full cannon, you could get it for 200k each part from the quest, so 800k for a cannon, and I think you could get it on the market for 150k each, so technically 600k for a cannon if you were buying it from a player, but you could buy it from the shop for 800k from the quest. I don't get that. Cannonballs were 200 to 300 GP each. I wrote make them. Just make them, you lazy person. Cape of Legends, 700 GP. I think that's just the shop price. Chaos Runes, 150 to 200 GP. I don't know why I wrote Cat Training Medal. Could you even trade that? Cats get 100 rats, 1k. It's rare. I wrote rare. Rare in parentheses. Climbing Boots, 100 GP. Just hold on to those for a few updates, and you will make a lot of money. Trust me. There's one update. Climbing Boots are going to go crazy. Future self. Cosmic Runes, 100 GP. It's so crazy to see all of this. You've got this page now. Cow hides, 50 to 150 GP. It's a good money-making method. Killing cows, tanning hides. Always been good. Full desert, I guess that's robes, 200 GP. Take some time. Also, you can pause. You can look at all of the prices. I don't want to say every single one or this video would be way too long. So I just want to call out a few of the cooler ones that we see. Disc of Returning. Perfect example of one of the cooler ones. 300 to 600k rare. Rare in the Nickelodeon logo. 300 to 600k. Imagine stocking up on all of those Disc of Returnings and having them now. You would be loaded. Diamonds were 3k to 5k. Rightfully so. Diamond amulets were 4k. Dragon Battle Axe, because that was one of the best stat boosters back in the day. 150 to 220k. Bonkers. That's insane. 220k for a Dragon Battle Axe. I don't know how much they are now, but it's definitely not that expensive, right? It can't be. Dragon chain body, 30 mil. Now that is so accurate. In 2007, they were about 25 mil, and you can only get them through the Calphite Queen or Dust Devils. That was the only way you can get a D-Chain. Calphite Queen was incredibly hard to kill back in the day. Dust Devils had like a 1 in 10,000 drop rate to get them. It was absurd. They were so rare. And remember, at this time, Dragon was the best armor set in the game that didn't degrade. Barrows had just released in May of 2005, so Barrows was really hard to get. No one was PVMing like that back in the day. It was so difficult to get your hands on that, and Dragon was the best non-degradable gear. So that's why it was so expensive. It was so hard to get, and it was non-degradable. So that is why Dragon was crazy. You got Dragon Longsword, 100k. Dragon Medhelm, 1.7 to 3.5 mil. I know in 2007, I bought one for 1 mil, and I staked it in the duel arena. And I thought I was going to win because I looked up the guy on high scores, and his name was 0000000, and he had terrible stats, but his name was actually 0000000, and he had max stats, and he absolutely destroyed me, scammed me, took my 1 mil. Kids, don't go to the duel arena. It's a scam. So D-Med, 1.7 to 3.5 in 2005. D-Plate Legs, 1 to 4 mil. They were like 3 to 4 mil, I believe, because I know in 2007 they were 2 mil. And at this time, they had to be 3 to 4 because you can only get them through Steel Dragons, and they were insanely rare. Same with the Dragon Skirt, 2.5 to 3 mil. Yeah, that's about accurate. Dragon Scimitar, 90 to 110k. That stayed pretty stable. Same with the Dragon Dagger, 30 to 40k. And the Dragon Dagger P, there was no P++. It was just poisoned, 50k. Dragon Halley, 300k from the Quest. Dragonstone, like I said, 90 to 100k. Makes sense for the Army of Glory. Easter eggs, 350 to 700k. Imagine stocking up on all of those back in the day and selling them now, just like the Disc of Returning. Unbelievable. They went up to way crazy amounts. This is so cheap, and I had one back in the day. Crazy. I don't know why I wrote Excalibur, 100 to 300k, and what is the Phali Knight's Sword? I wrote Phaladians. What is Phaladian's Knight Sword? Phali Knight Sword, 50 to 100k quest? I don't even know what that's from. What is that? Is that the Blurite Sword? I have no idea. Excalibur, 100 to 300k. You can't trade that. All right. Pastely wasn't very bright, huh? Feathers, 5 to 10 GP each. I just camped at the chicken coop for like 3 months. When I started playing in January of 05, I camped for like 3 months there. I didn't even know how to train strength and defense. I just camped on attack. I didn't know how to change anything. I thought Lumbridge was the only place on RuneScape. I had no idea. I just stayed at the chicken pen for 3 months. I had like 50 attack, 1 strength, 1 defense, and 30,000 feathers. I was rolling in the deep. Farseer Helm, 65 to 85k. Nuts. Flowers, 300 GP to 50k. The white and black ones were 50k. And that's because they were more rare. Before flower gambling and all of that, white and blacks were really hard to get because you could only get them through Mithril Seeds in the Legends quest. And they were harder to get than the blue ones, the red ones, the multicolored ones. So 50k for white and black flowers. Fashionscape, man. Fashionscape. Then you've got Gilded. I just wrote over 2 mil, over 2 mil, over 5 mil, over 3 mil, over 4 mil. Gilded was insanely rare to get. It was from Clue Scrolls, and just like Third Age, it is so hard to get. This was before Third Age armor. That was the hardest stuff to get from Clue Scrolls, and it went for a ridiculous price. Here's a wild one. Full Guthans, 50 mil. Now remember, Barrows had just come out May of 2005. This book was made August to October of 2005. So Guthans was like the best armor in the game that degraded. Now remember, this set effect healed you, and the best food at the time was like sharks and manta rays. So full Guthans healing you on hit was broken for Slayer, for bossing. Everyone wanted full Guthans. 50 mil. I bought my first set for, I believe, 12 mil in 2007 or 2008. So pretty wild to see 50 mil for that, because 50 mil back then is like 5 bill now. Just out of control. Full Guthix rune. Remember when people cared about god-trimmed rune armor? Now it's just fodder in Clue Scrolls, but you have 1 to 1.4 mil for the Guthix plate body and 700k for the Guthix plate legs. Full Guthix rune was like 3 mil. Insane. Halloween mask, rare, 2 to 10 mil. I believe the red mask was 10, the blue was 5, and the green was 2. But even then, if you bought those for those prices, nowadays you would be rolling. Granite Maul, 350k. Granite Shield, 100k. Granite Maul, once again, Slayer had just come out. You needed the Slayer level to kill gargoyles. That was hard to get. Great spec weapon. Highwayman Mask, 50k. Those are worth more due to fortunate components, just like the berets. Lobsters, 100 GP to 300 GP. They were the go-to food, the pretty much budget food and easy fishing and cooking XP. Manta rays were 15k cooked, 12k raw. That's wild. Mainly because no one did fishing trawler and it was hard to get. Full mithril you got here. Next page. More myth stuff. Mystic. Full mystic robes were 120k. That's wild. I think that's about accurate though, to like old school prices. Pet cat. You can't sell that. Maybe that's the price of how much you got in death runes, 18k. I have no idea. I don't know why I wrote pet cat. That's a little morbid. Pirate hat, 85 to 105k. Once again, fortunate component. Pumpkin, rare, 8 to 11 mil. That's insane. Ranger boots, 700 to 800k. I'm so salty. I sold like 30 pairs of Ranger boots for $1 mil each back in like 2009. And then there was an update and they became 30 mil each. And I could have made a lot more money. But Ranger boots, 700, 800k. Once upon a time, look at that. Robin Hood hats were 2 to 3 mil. They were way more than Ranger boots, but now that is not the case. Not at all. Actually, in RuneScape 3, they're the same price because they are both fortunate components. But in old school, Ranger boots are way more than the Robin Hood hat, of course. Rock hammer, 500 GP. Don't know why I wrote that down. That's from a Slayer Master. You got all the rune items. Rune Full Helm G was 350k. Rune Kite Shield G was 600k. Rune Plate Body G was 700k. Rune Plate Legs G 550k. So a full set of Rune G was like 3 mil, kind of in line with Guthix. Rune Simi 30 to 40k classic. Rune Boots 400k to 500k. That's insane. Once again, best boots in the game at that time. And the last 2 pages. Don't know why I wrote Scythe. Came out in 2003 and it was not tradable ever. So I don't know why that was in there. Full Sarah. That was about 4 mil. Sarah plate skirt was 1 mil. Plate body 1.2. Plate legs 1. I guess all of the god dyed rune armor was about 3 to 4 mil for a set. I think Sarah was always more expensive than Zami than Guthix. Santa hat 500k to 1.6 mil. They're like 4 bill now. It's insane. If you had a bunch of those, oh my god, log into your account, sell them. You are loaded. Sharks were 1k each. That was the go-to best food because manta rays were a little bit harder to get. Sea turtles, 2k. Shade robes. Remember shade robes? 5k for the bottom, 5k for the top. Why did I write Silverlight? You can't trade that. Shield left half, dragon square shield, 6 mil. The right half, 5 mil. 11 mil for a dragon square. That's a bit insane. Sleeping bag, 40 GP. Full split bark, 210k. Swordfish was 350 GP. Torags. I guess I only wrote down 2 Barrows armors. I didn't write down a Rims, Karils, Verax, or Darox. Yeah, those 4 I didn't write down, but I wrote down Torags and Guthins. Torags, 3 mil for the helmet, 2.8 for the plate body. Why was the helmet more? I doubt that. Torags plate legs, 2.5 mil, so probably 6 mil for the full Torag set, and then Torag hammers, 9 mil. I wrote Torag hammer, 9 mil right there. Insane. No way. Who was paying 9 mil for a Torag hammer? Anyway, that's like 15 mil for a full Torag set. That's insane. Once again, best armor in the game back then. All the Barrow sets were tier 70. They degraded, of course, but they were the best armors in the game. And then the last page, Warrior Helm, 80k. U-Logs, 250 to 450 GP. And then full Zami Rune. Once again, 2 mil for the plate body. Why did I write 2,000k or 1,300k? You got about 1.6 mil for the skirt, 800k for the full helm. Insane to see. So I thought that would be really cool to show you. And there's some bonus content. So I was going to draw all my outfits back when I was a kid, I guess. But I just wrote them all down. My outfits, range, full green D-hide, which I didn't put on the price guide over there. Coif, green Fremi cloak, you have to match. Green boots, Ami of Accuracy stinks. Ring of Dueling, why? Iron, Steel, Myth Addy, or Rune Arrows. Combat, which I mean melee, I guess. Full Rune, Rune Simi, Ami of Strength. Red boots, red gloves, red Fremi cloak. Why red? Mage, I love Split Bark, sold it. Or Mystic, or Shade, whatever I can get. I'm not picky. Whatever mage gear I can get. And then I wrote, range outfit is going to be full blue D-hide, a blue beret or coif, Ami of Accuracy, blue boots, Ring of Recoil, same arrows. And then last but not least, rare and cool items that I doodled. I told you I doodled a lot in class and I drew these. Rare and cool items. Paintball gun. This is just the sheep dyer from the quest. Just a sheep dyer. I wrote paintball gun. A messed up Halloween mask that's accurate. That does look messed up. Dragon bones. Santa hat. Spinning plate. Beret. I'm guessing that's blue beret. Split bark helm. Pretty good. Easter eggs. Bunny ears. Abyssal whip. It just looks like a loose stool. Granite Maul looks like King DD's hammer. It doesn't look like a Granite Maul at all. Magic short bow. Sarah kite. That's just a kite shield. Then we've got another one over here. More rare and cool items. Black G Kite. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as the Sarah Kite, just not colored in. What? Any arrows? I wrote red. I guess red Halloween mask, full red D-hide, red boots, magic short bow. I wrote best ranging outfit. Was black D-hide not out? A cannon, dragon dagger P, gnome ball, Christmas cracker, scythe. Now, this was the scythe for Halloween, but I actually drew the noxious scythe before it actually released in RuneScape. So that's pretty cool to see that I did that. A little noxious scythe action before it really released. But that is my 2005 RuneScape book with my outfits, some drawings, the price guide of all of the items back from 2005. I think this is so cool. I mean, no one else was crazy enough to do this, so I think it's a pretty cool point in history that I have forever in this book. So that's all for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Taking that trip down memory lane is awesome. I mean, no one else was crazy enough to write down every single price of every single item in RuneScape back in 2005. And I can't believe I did that, and I have that information to share with all of you today. It's just so cool to experience that, because if you played during then, it's gotta be nostalgic for you like it is for me. It's just insane to see what some items were worth back then, and seeing now if those items are worth way more or way less. It's just pretty awesome, and I'm glad I was able to share it with all of you today. So if you like this video, please leave a like on it. It would mean a lot to me. And also, please subscribe for more content. Also, click on that notification bell and turn notifications on. That way, you'll never miss when I upload a video. So with that being said, make sure you check out the links in the description. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Regicidal, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later, everyone.